Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that shapes our lives pretty much every single day: emotional intelligence. It's that other kind of smart, the kind that can honestly make all the difference between success and, well, not so much. So let's start with a question, a puzzle I'm sure you've thought about. Why is it that people who are super book smart sometimes really lack street smarts? We've all known that person, right? The one who aced every exam, a total genius in the classroom, but out in the real world, they just seem to stumble. It's a fascinating paradox. And you can really see the two sides here. On one hand, you've got your classic book smarts. Think the school valedictorian, the math whiz, the person who gets into a top professional school. But on the other hand, you've got street smarts. This is the person who can read a room, manage their own emotions, influence other people, and really build a life that feels fulfilling. So what's the bridge between these two? Well, that bridge has a name: emotional intelligence. And as Peter Salovey, who's one of the original researchers in this whole field, puts it, it's all about adopting a, quote, broader view of what it means to be smart. It's not just about what you know, it's about how you use what you feel. Okay, so what is emotional intelligence really? Let's break it down, because it's way more than just being in touch with your feelings. At its heart, emotional intelligence, or EI, is the ability to actually tune in to the world around you. It's about being able to read situations, to really connect with other people, and at the same time, take charge of your own life and your own reactions. It's this powerful mix of self-awareness and social awareness. And here is the real game changer. When we talk about IQ, your intellectual quotient, or even your core personality, for the most part, those are pretty much fixed. But your EQ, your emotional quotient, that's a whole different story. These are skills. And because they're skills, they can be learned, they can be practiced, and they can be improved. That is incredibly empowering. So, what does a person with high EQ actually look like? Well, they're the ones who keep their cool when things get stressful. They're able to influence people without being pushy. They can say what they mean clearly. And because of all that, they gain respect and can navigate tricky situations without, blowing up. I bet you can picture someone like that right now. That person, they've got a high EQ. Now let's talk about how this stuff works when the rubber meets the road. Because one of the biggest parts of EQ is empathy, and it is an absolute secret weapon in the real world. So, picture this. We've got two guys, Danny and Wilfred. Their flight gets delayed for 5 hours. They finally land in Boston, exhausted, get to their hotel late at night, only to be told it's completely overbooked. Their reservations aren't guaranteed. They're stuck in the exact same incredibly frustrating situation. But how they handle it? It's night and day. Danny just loses it. He goes low EQ. He starts screaming at the desk clerk, yelling, "What do you expect me to do?" He's basically attacking the one person who might be able to help him. But Wilfred, he takes a totally different path, a high EQ approach. He stays calm, he's understanding, and he tries to connect with the clerk, person to person. And the result? Well, Danny was told, basically, sorry, you're on your own, and had to go find another hotel. But Wilfred? The clerk worked some magic and found him an upgraded room on the concierge floor. We're talking free breakfast, the works, for the exact same price. Same problem, totally different outcomes, all because of emotional intelligence. So what did Wilfred do? He used empathy. And it's really important to know the difference between sympathy and empathy. See, sympathy is an I statement. It's about you. Oh, I feel so bad for you. Empathy, on the other hand, is a you statement. It's about them. When Wilfred said to the clerk, "You must have to deal with this all the time," he showed he understood what she was feeling. There's this wonderful old saying that captures the idea perfectly: walk in the other person's moccasins. It's about trying to see the world from their point of view, just for a moment. That simple shift is exactly what turned a disaster into a 5-star experience for Wilfred. Okay, so this is all great in a story, but the real question is, how do you put this into practice? How can you start to build up these emotional skills for yourself? Let's get practical. And let's just hammer this point home one more time, because it's the best news of all. Your emotional intelligence is not fixed. I'm going to say it again. These are skills, and just like any skill, they can be learned and they can be improved with a little bit of practice. So where can you start? Well, here's a super simple, science-backed exercise called 3 Good Things in Life. It's this simple. At the end of each day, just take a minute to write down 3 things that went well. Then, for each one, just jot down a quick note about why it went well. That's it. Do that for a week. This simple act of focusing on the positive is proven to boost your optimism and happiness. So just remember, your EQ isn't set in stone. The whole journey forward really does start with one single, simple step. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Thinking about everything we've talked about, from keeping cool under pressure to walking in someone else's moccasins, what is just one emotional skill you could pick to practice a little bit this week?